Okay, so I'm reading what says Kuf Kaf Gimel. Rachel, you have it?
Second, no, I'm still looking.
It's the source that I just sent out today, like at the, I don't know if you saw that. I sent out another source today, which I kind of did at the last minute, so I don't know if you had a chance to print it.
1 second.
Okay.
I don't think I see it, but it's okay. I'll just listen and then I'll get it afterwards.
Okay. Okay. If anyone
else, it's not source number 4, is it? No.
No, it's not what I sent last night. I sent all the sources last night, and then this morning I just scanned one more.
Oh, I don't think
it would be in your email. It would have been in your email from.
I don't think I checked it today. Okay.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Hi, Devorah.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Hi, it's Nadia. I just wanted to say I have it.
Oh, good.
Hi.
Okay, how are you doing, Nadia? If we have time again, Nadia, I want you to share your Enod Novado dream. Yeah?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it based on what you're saying.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, good. Go ahead and mute, Nadia, just because I am hearing some background noise where you are. Okay, great. So if anyone else, you heard this get to you, it's this last source that I just sent out this morning. Okay, it says Kuf Gimel on top. Okay, so I guess I'll read it slowly, and here we go. Tehini Matzinu b'Zohar Kodesh, Mashal Min HaKelev. Okay, so here we find in the Zohar a mashal, an allegory of a kelev, right, of a dog, right, Min HaKelev, Sheka'asher Makim et HaKelev b'Makel, right, so that when, this is a mashal that's brought in the Zohar, that when you hit the dog with a stick, yeah, Darko Shel HaKelev, the roots Achar HaMakel. Right, so the way of the dog is he runs after the stick, right? You hit the dog with a stick, so he runs after the stick. The Lelacham Imo, and he fights with the stick. Yeah? V'zos Mechoser Hakara She'ikar HaMakeh Eino Min HaMakel, and this is because he's lacking, right, the awareness, the understanding that the one who hit him, right, it's the one behind, right, the Ikar Hamake, the essential one who's behind the hitting is not coming from the stick, but rather it's coming from the one who's holding the stick. Yeah? Kain hadavar be'emes la'olam. And this is the truth of how it is in the world. Shekol ha'emtzaim harabim v'hamikrim harabim v'hen b'nei adam. Right? They're all the things in the world. They're all means, and they're all happenings, and they're all many happenings, right? Also amongst people. Yeah, hem einam ele bebechinas makel beyado yisbarach shemo. Right? Again, everything that's going on around us, right? It's really nothing but a stick in the hands of Hashem. So again, me getting, angry at my daughter is like me getting angry. It's like me being the dog that's getting angry at the stick. Yeah, the al ha'adam lahavin mi hamakeh. Right? And it really, the person, he has to understand, like, who's the one hitting. Right? Hamakel or HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? The stick or Hashem. Upam hamakel mitra'eh b'tzura shel evan. Sometimes the stick will appear in the form of a rock, of a stone. Upam b'tzura shel mayim, and sometimes in the form of water. Upam b'tzura shel adam, and sometimes in the form of a person. Olam hatzad hashaveh, but the thing that's equal amongst all of it, shebekol ha'ofanim yesh rak k'tovus achas. Right? But the one equal factor in all of these things, right? Whether it's a rock, whether it's water, whether it's axes, chas v'shalom, right? That all, I put that in there, that's not Bilbavi, right? That there's the point that's equal amongst all of these things, that there's only one address, right? Rak k'tovus achas. There's only one address, the kol inyan, to everything, the hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu bilvad, and that is Hashem alone. Okay? So I actually wanted to repeat something in the name of Rabbi Daniel Katz that I heard on a shir that he gave. Actually, maybe you're familiar with this shir, Nadia, that he gave to the Mechina program. I think it was a while ago, but a friend of mine from Neve sent it out recently. And Rabbi Katz said something that was very interesting. He said, so whatever Bill Zavi just say, like, don't be mad at the stick. Be if you're going to be mad at someone, be mad at Hashem. Right? Don't, it's not the stick. It's all coming from Hashem. So Rabbi Katz said, that it's a very high level to be angry at Hashem, which I thought was a very interesting statement. And he also clarified and said, this is certainly not a level that we want to, hang out on, indefinitely. But it's a level. It is a madrega to be on the level of actually being angry at Hashem. Because if you're not on that level, then you're like the dog in the Zohar, that you're just getting angry at the stick, and you're not realizing, who is it that's holding the stick. So I just thought that was very interesting, and it very much fit in with what we just read here. Now, obviously, you want to get to the place, beyond being angry with Hashem and understanding, that this is all coming from Hashem, who loves me and who's good and who's right here, right now, and who I can rely on, and chule v'chule. But even getting to the level where you're angry at Hashem, we have to realize that, compared to most people who don't even have the consciousness of recognizing that it's coming from Hashem, that in and of itself is a madrega. So, okay. So I'm going to pause and just ask if there are any questions before we do this Nefesh HaChaim Sabula. Any questions? Rachel, you hear this?
So, this is Rachel. Yeah. If I could just ask, I'm just trying to process how this fits in with our reaction to situations and how we respond. I mean, obviously, if we get to the point and the level where we feel and we know and we recognize and we are conscious that Hashem is there, and he's our Father in Shamayim, and he cares about us, and he's doing these things for our own good. So on the one hand, where people's choices, where does that come into play, and how much are we to?
Is that what you said?
What's that?
People's choices? You mean the other person that
choices? In other words, our choice in reacting to the situation. Obviously, that's going to affect how we react. And in other words, how do we respond to a situation knowing that Hashem is in control? Do we just accept it, or do we try and change it, or do we exert our own bechira? And do you understand what I mean? How do we coordinate? And it's a little bit vague, but
right. I think I understand what you're asking. You want to know, saying.
I mean, we don't just accept everything that happens. You can't just
push forward, and when do I pull back? Is that
kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you remember you were with me for the Ratzon tool, right?
Right.
Way back in the spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to answer you because you're answering the question. You're asking the question, and nobody else except for maybe Yehudis is going to know what I'm talking about. But it comes back to that idea of first creation and second creation Ratzon.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do both, and we'll go back over it again. But you have to do both. On the one hand, I have to picture. Right, I have to put my gas on the pedal and picture and visualize and speak out exactly what I want. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which in that way I create, remember we said a spiritual template, I create something that's very real, at least in Shemayim, right? But then whether or not that comes down into reality, so that's, I 100% pull back and I say, Hashem, you're 100% in control of the results. And as long as I'm always doing both, I kind of cover my bases. That's kind of the way I feel.
In other words, do your effort, do your hishtadlus, and yet realize that Hashem is ultimately, guiding us. And okay.
That's, but a lot of the hishtadlus, it is the going through and doing whatever the actions. But if you remember, and we'll review this again when we get to Ratzon, one of the main parts of hishtadlus is speaking it out and visualizing and picturing and really speaking out with Hashem in great, great detail how you want something to go. That is part of the hishtadlus. Right? And then it's also, going about and doing, But but whether or not it actually comes to be or not, so the results are 100% in Hashem's hands.
Right. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Now,
Thank you.
Asking a different question, which is, well, where's the free will of like the person, the stick, so to speak, in this analogy, or the person, whoever it is that insulted me or hurt my feelings or whatever. And but that's not what you were asking. But I can address it just because we're talking about Bechira. Like that person still has 100% responsibility for whatever they did, and they still have to do a cheshbon, with Hashem on whatever they did. But somehow Hashem, in His infinite wisdom, He's able to work out, right, that whatever it is I needed to hear, right. So whoever it is that, let's say, has that, negative energy that they need to so to speak, burn off. So Hashem's going to coordinate it so that I bump into that person with the negative energy because that's, for whatever reason I need to experience that. Yeah.
Right.
But they still own it. They still, it's not that, Hashem, that we're all a bunch of robots and, it's not that Hashem made my daughter make me crazy this morning. It's that, my daughter is responsible for her actions, and yet for whatever reason, Hashem orchestrated it in such a way because I also really needed to see where I am on this, Emunah Richter scale, so to speak.
So how do we know? How do we sort of figure out where we are and why this is happening to us, or whatever it is that?
So you can see from your reaction to things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew this morning I was in a very low state of consciousness because I flew off the handle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but Rav, I don't have the English in front of me, but go back to what we saw last week. Bilvavi says really clearly, you can look at your anger as a barometer, he calls it, to see, your anger, your frustration, your disappointment at things. Yeah, that when any of these, negative emotions that we're feeling. So again, if I was really in an Einod Milvado space, I wouldn't be feeling these negative feelings. I wouldn't have lost my temper.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a lifelong process. We're
if you're disappointed with something. Yeah, that's it. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
If you're disappointed with something, it's not quite the same as anger.
Right.
Oh?
Right. So again, right.
You count disappointment as a negative.
I guess I would say what Rabbi Niven always says, which is if it disempowers you, then that's a sign that something is not aligned properly. Yeah, I think that's the way Rabbi Niven would answer it. That, if the disappointment, is what triggers you to do like a deep cheshbon nefesh and to really have a deep conversation with Hashem, and I really want to work this through and get through this block, hule v'hule, so then good. So that was, that was the impetus to get you, to have a deep, heartfelt conversation with Hashem. But if the disappointment, really gets you to this place of I'm feeling disempowered and I'm feeling unworthy and I'm just, and it just makes you more and more just, in distance, so then, so that's not a good thing.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions? I know I just have a few more minutes, but I really want to go through this Einod Milvado Segula from the Nefesh HaChaim. But I'm happy to hang out for a few more minutes. Any other questions, clarifications? We're good? You're good? Good to you, Nadia? Okay. So I hope everyone has the source that I scanned for you from the Nefesh HaChaim. I think it's whatever the last source was from last week. Rachel, you do have it in front of you?
Yes. Thank you.
This is it says the Einod Milvado Segula. And we're going to go through this sentence by sentence. Guti, I hope you have it also so we can go through it sentence by sentence. You hear this, Nadia? Yeah? What I'm reading from, actually before I read that, I want to just read you one sentence in English from the Nefesh HaChaim, because this is going to plug us in to the Segula. I didn't scan this for you, but it's just one quick sentence. But the Nefesh HaChaim, he's explaining here, right? Again, remember we said way back from Obi, right, that this das, right, that this consciousness, this awareness, he calls it the makom kedusha, right, that when we plug into this space and we have this das, right, so there's like this aura of kedusha that's like surrounding us, right? He calls it a makom kedusha. So the Nefesh HaChaim, he's commenting on this. And I'm just going to read this one sentence, and then I'll explain it. He says, but the potency of this Kedusha depends on the mental intent and the purity of thought with which the mitzvah was performed. Here he's speaking specifically about observing mitzvahs. But the key sentence, the key phrase that I want to hone in on is this idea of it depends on the mental intent and the purity of thought. Okay, remember that. Mental intent and purity of thought. And why am I zeroing in on that? Because again, this isn't an abracadabra. As Rabbi Niven would always say, Hashem is not a Caspamat. It's not I push X, Y buttons, and I get Z results, right? But this whole avoda, it very much depends on, again, how real am I with this truth, with this reality? How, again, the potency of the Kedusha, or in this case we're going to see the potency of the Segula, let's say, right? We could just use the same words. The potency of the Segula is going to depend on, again, mental intent and purity of thought. Okay, or the potency, he says, the potency of my intent and my purity of thought. So what we're going to go through now is the Nefesh HaChaim Segula. And if you remember from the story we read last week from Reb Chaim the Brisk, because he was escaping the Nazis, and so, when he was asked at the end by his students, like, how is it that you were so calm? And, here his student was about to, faint. He did faint, I think, in the end, and he asked Reb Chaim, how are you so calm? And the Nazis, they were about to, check through your luggage, and all was going to be lost, and you could have been killed right on the spot. And Reb Chaim explains, that before he left the house, so he reviewed this Nefesh HaChaim Segula, right? And that having that, again, that mental intent, that potency of thought and the purity of thought, and really, he was really focusing on this idea, which we're going to go through right now. Having that clarity is what enabled them to get through all the checkpoints and to be saved at the end and not be rounded up by the Nazis. So what is this Segula? So I'm reading from the Nefesh HaChaim. This is from Shar, I think it's Shar Beis, Parak Yud, it's Shar Gimel. This is from Shar Gimel, Parak Yud Beis. Okay, so if you see where I am, it's the paragraph where it starts for Lachain Gam Rebbe Chanina. You see where I am, Rachel? You still there?
Sure.
Somebody with me? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Is that Nadia?
No, this is Rachel.
Oh, hi, Rachel. How come it got so staticky on your end? Okay. That's weird. Do you have the source? I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute, or put yourself on mute. Do you have the source in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, go ahead and do a star 6, because I'm hearing funny noises now. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to read, just to give you the context of where this is coming from, the Nefesh HaChaim, he's reviewing the story, right, the famous story of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa and how his daughter accidentally lit vinegar for Shabbos candles instead of lighting oil. And she was all distressed, and there's a lot of depth to this story. We actually spent a few weeks going through it with Rabbi Niven and our... So I'm not going to go through it all right now, but basically just very bekitzer. Rabbi Hanina says, don't worry, right, the same Hashem, who can make oil light can also make vinegar light, and of course the vinegar candles, they lasted all the way up until Havdalah. And so the Nefesh HaChaim, he's basically asking, what was it that enabled Rabbi Hanina to enact such a miracle? I mean, clearly that's a miracle to be able to light vinegar and have it burn all the way through till the end of Shabbos. in the same way as oil. So how is he zocha to such a miracle? Okay, that's the question that we're answering here. And really, this is very shaykh. Again, Hanukkah is mamish. It's tomorrow night, so the energies are really coming down now. If you're not already feeling it, hopefully with this piece we'll really plug into it. That I think I mentioned this last week, and to really go through it, please listen to. I put 3 shiurim that I gave on this on my website, in addition to many, many beautiful shiurim on Hanukkah. But this idea of Hanukkah being this like 8-day laboratory of really plugging into Enod Novado. Like, that's really the depth of what Hanukkah is all about, is it's giving us this opportunity to really, really plug into this consciousness in a real way and make it real. Because again, this can't just be something in my head. What was it that made me fly off the handle this morning? It's because for all my great, knowledge and all my teaching and all, the years I've been doing this, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, I'm still a human being, and I can still become unconscious. And in that moment, I completely forgot the reality of, wait a minute, time out, Hashem, you're really right here, and you're the one sending this whole scene, and I'm sure I can help my daughter, brush her hair and get ready for school without all this yelling and screaming. And I just I blanked. I totally blanked. It was really not a good example of Enod Novado. So this idea of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, right? All Hanukkah is all about miracles, right? The miracle of also of light. It's interesting. This is talking about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. The whole miracle of Hanukkah is this miracle of light, and light burning and lasting, for 8 days instead of 1 day, just like the Shabbos candles that Rabbi Hanina lit, right, with vinegar instead of oil. So it's all about light and the miracle of light. And you want to know how to be zocha, how to plug yourself into this realm of nisim, of how can we experience, again, this is what opens up the channel of siyata d'shmaya in our lives, and this is what will open up our ability to receive nisim and experience nisim in our lives, right? So it's with this segula. And Hanukkah is really the time. It's when the energies are extant in the air to really, really plug into this. So with that introduction. So what was it? He's asking the question, what was it that allowed Rabbi Hanina, right, to plug into this miracle, to have this miracle happen to him? Okay, so he says, V'lachen gam Rabbi Hanina, and so it is with Rabbi Hanina. Right? Lo shebatach al schus kedushas Torah. So it's not that he relied upon the merit of his holy learning, of his holy Torah, u'ma'asav hamerubim, or even of his many great deeds. Right? So he's asking the question: what was the schus? What was the merit? What allowed Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa to tap into and to activate such an incredible Ma'al HaTeva Nes, like a miracle, to experience such a miracle, to access such a miracle in his life? So it wasn't because of his great Torah or his great deeds, right? What was it? Rather, Rak Sheyeda V'Shi'er B'Nafsho, right? What was it? That he knew and he measured in his soul, Shezot HaEmunah Kru'a B'Libo La'amita. Right, that this is the Emunah that is set, that is established in his heart, right, truthfully, right? What is the truth? Again, he drilled it into his heart. What? She'ein od novado yizbarach, that there is nothing other than Hashem. Shum koach klal, right? No other power. That he bik atzmo b'kedushas machshavoto lebal hakochos kulam. Right, and he attached himself, right, and the holiness. He attached himself in the holy thoughts, right, to the one who controls all of the powers, right. Adon Yachid, Adon Yachid Hamalei Kol Almin, right, the only master who fills all of the worlds. The Ein Kan Shum Shlita Umetzius Koach Acher Klal. And there is no other controlling power or reality or any real power to anything else whatsoever. Now I'm going to pause here for a minute to just say, to remind us of what we said again a few weeks ago, that the key to all of this is that I have to get a handle on my thinking, right? Remember what we said from Rav Pinkus, right? That when you think about Hashem, you are with Hashem. And if you think about something else, you simply disconnect from Hashem. So this whole avoda is I have to be able to get control over my thoughts, right? Remember, he's focusing in here on kedushas machshavoto, right? He had his thinking, his heart and his mind was totally clear. He had total clarity, right? That there's nothing to ein od novado, right? The Adon Yachid, and Hashem is the master, and He fills all of the world. I remember also the source from Rav Pinkus where he went through the 3 levels of ein od novado. Right, so level 1 was this idea of Hashem as the Adon, right? That Hashem is in control of everything. He's the master of everything, right? So Rab Hanina had this 100% crystal clear. Okay, now skip down to the next paragraph where it says the emes. Okay, I'll finish off with this. The emes, hu inyan gadol usegula nifla, right? There's that word segula. Yeah, I don't even know how to translate segula in English. But in truth, this is a big matter and a wondrous, I guess, patent would be the best way to define segula. Everyone knows what a segula is, right? So in truth, this is a big matter and a wondrous segula. Yeah, lahaser ulavatel me'alav kol dinim v'ratzonos acherim, right? To remove and to nullify from upon oneself all of the dinim, all of the judgments, and all other ratzonos, all other wills, right? Shelo yachlu lishlot bo, right? Then they can't have any control over him whatsoever. The lo yasu shum roshem klal, and they can't make any impression on him, right? Again, no dinim, there's nothing, there's no independence to anything outside of Hashem. Nothing can have any control over him whatsoever or make any impression on him whatsoever, right? How do we activate this segula? So again, he says, Kashe ha'adam kovea belibo, he sets firmly into his heart, and he says, Lamor, and again, we have to say this. It's not enough just to read this. You have to say it out loud. Halo Hashem hu Elokim ha'imiti. Hashem is the true God, the ein od novado yisbarach shum koach ba'olam b'kol ha'olamos klal. And there is no other power except for Hashem yisbarach shemo. Right? There's no other power in the world or any of the worlds. The hakol malay rak achuduso hapashid yisbarach shemo. And everything, right, is filled only with the achuduso, with the uniqueness, or with the oneness, right? The simple oneness of Hashem Shemo, right? And the vatel, the libo bitul gomor, and he nullifies within himself a total nullification. Yeah, the eno meshgiach klal al shum kol b'ratzon ba'olam, and he doesn't rely at all on any other power or any other ratzon, any other will in the world. Umisha'abed umadbek tohar machshavoto rak la'adon yachid. Right, again, here's the focus on having a clear and pure thought. Right, so he subjugates and he attaches in purity his thought, right, and he makes his thought, right, again, let me say that again, Misha'abed umadbek, he subjugates and he attaches in purity, right, his thought, rak la'adon yachid baruch hu, right, only to Hashem who is one, right, baruch hu, ken yaspiku yisbarach b'yado. Right, and that is how Hashem will be yaspik, will fulfill, right, whatever it is in His hand. Right, shemamela yizbatlu me'elav kol hakochos v'haratzonos ba'olam. Right, and so there's 2 things going on here. One, Hashem will fulfill, right, he'll be yaspik, he'll satisfy whatever He needs in His hand, and He will nullify from upon him all of the external kochos, right, in the world, shelo yachlu lif'ol lo shum devar klal, that they cannot have any effect upon him whatsoever. Okay, now I want to just skip down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, right, where it's going to say, Ki Hashem hu Elokim. Okay? And ready to see where I am? Ki Hashem hu Elokim v'lichlal Shem Elokim b'Shem Hashem v'chulei. Right, what does this mean? Hashem, He is God, right? And He includes, right, the name of Elokim with the name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, right? What does that mean? K'sheha'adam yada shehakol achad v'lo yatzim pirud. Right? When a person, again, has total clarity, right, that everything is one, right? Shahakol achad, it's all one, right? And he doesn't do any pirud. We're going to explain in a minute what does this mean, below yasim pirud. And he doesn't make any separation. Yeah, afilu hasitra achra yistalek min ha'olam. Right? Even the sitra achra will be removed from the world. Okay? So, yeah, someone just pop on so I know I didn't get cut off. Someone do a *6. Did I lose you, ladies?
Okay.
Okay, great. Who's that, Rachel?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, you don't even stay on that. For some reason, your phone is better now. I don't know what happened before. But, yeah, so that's it. Okay, oh, great, Nadia. Hi. So that's it. That's the Eino Novado Segula. I think in the source that I scanned for you, so I did underline the main parts. And if we say that, if you haven't started saying it, so it's Erev Hanukkah, like start saying it tomorrow morning, or it's still daytime in America. It doesn't have to be in the morning, but like whatever time where you designate, okay, this is my, quiet time with Hashem to like just get my thoughts clear and so to speak, download this consciousness right into my brain, into my heart, whatever that time is, and you say it. And if you can say it in Hebrew, like all the better. You don't have to say it in Hebrew, but you'll see when we get to the power of speech that there is a tremendous koach to saying things in Lashon HaKadosh. Yeah, if you can't say it in Hebrew, that's still fine. The main thing is to get the idea really clear into your mind and into your heart. And then again, when in the crunch mode, or in any time that you're just feeling unconscious, you're feeling confused, you're feeling alone, you're feeling, disempowered, disappointed, anything, right? So we can access that space by saying Ein Od Novado, right? Hashem. Again, it doesn't have to be Ein Od Novado. It can be Hashem is right here, right now. Hashem, I know you're with me. Hashem, I know you love me. Right? We're going to talk about this a lot when we get to the power of speech. Right? Actually, it was just we just read last week from Vayeshev, because it's one of my favorite parshas, because it's all about what was it that I'm jumping ahead now to Koach HaDibur. We're not up to it yet, but what was Yosef's strength? Right? It says what made him an ish matzliach, what made him successful, is that the Midrash says he would talk to Hashem all day long. Right? It says Shem Shemayim Shagar B'Piv, right? That he constantly had the name Hashem. He was constantly talking to Hashem all day long. Right? Whenever he would go to do a task, he would say, "Please Hashem." When he would finish a task, he would say, "Thank you, Hashem." And that way he was able to keep the consciousness going. I'm bringing that up now just because we just read this last week. And so, the whole koach of Yosef Atzadik is also in the air. It's Yosef, it's Hanukkah, it's all this incredible potential right now to really get this consciousness drilled into us. And again, this is it. Remember what the Chiddushei Arim says. This is the last piece. Yeah, because we have the Torah learning, and we have the Mosdot, and we have the Chesed organizations. We have so much. It's easier to be frum today than ever before in Jewish history. But what, right? Remember what the Chiddushei Arim said? He said there's just going to be one thing missing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo yeh b'toch kol ha'esek. The Greeks said, right on the horns of your oxen, I will have no chelik in the God of Israel. The Greeks were trying to get at this nakuda. They were trying to destroy our das. They were trying to cut us off from our Ein Od Novado consciousness, and in that way cut us off from having any siyata d'shmaya. So, okay. I have more I can say, but I think I'll stop since it's already 6:25. I do want to pick up next week on this idea of lo yasim pirud, right? What does that really mean? Like, don't make any pirud, don't make any separation, because again, pirud is the total opposite of Einod Novado. But I think I'll leave that for last week. For next week, since we're getting close.
So our next week is Hanukkah. Are we still meeting?
So next week is Hanukkah. You know what? I think not, because now that I think of it, it'll be at least an Eretz Yisrael candle lighting. And, we have at least a tradition in our household. We hang out with the kids and we sing, and I don't think I'll be ready by 5 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah. So you know what? So good. So I'm good. Thank you for bringing that up, Rachel. But I don't feel too badly, because I'm leaving you again with an entire website of tons of shiurim on Hanukkah.
Mm-hmm.
And please do listen to them between now. So just for anyone who's either listening live or listening to the recording, we're going to meet 2 weeks from today. Right? We will not be meeting during Hanukkah, but we'll meet the Monday right after Hanukkah. But between now and then, listen to the shiurim on my website, again, www.goddirecttorah.com. You can hear the shiur that I gave on this last year, all about Hanukkah and all about what does it mean, Einod Novado, and what's the avoda of staring at the candles, and how we can use, this avoda of, the actual mitzvah of looking at the candles. It says, Lerotam bilvad. Right? The whole mitzvah is to just look at the candles, and how that's meant to be a meditation, and that's what plugs us into our soul, and you'll hear it. But this what I'm just describing right now, again, Hanukkah is the 8-day laboratory for really plugging into this consciousness, and not just knowing it, but feeling it, getting it to the place where I can feel it, where when the next time, something happens and my buttons get pushed, like I can access this space. And I know what happened this morning, because I hadn't been doing my vote in the morning, and I got thrown off as a result. So this is an exercise. Remember, this is a muscle. We have to keep plugged in. So I wanted to suggest that we all, take on this Nefesh HaChaim Segula, again, to say it either in English or in Hebrew, and to try to really mean what we're saying. And the more we can plug into that, then throughout the day, try to say Einod Novado and see if something opens up, because this is really what opens the flow to Siyata D'Shmaya in our lives. So I'm going to officially end the class. But is anyone else still there? Because I do want Nadia.
Can Nadia say her story?
Yeah, Nadia, can you tell us your Einod Novado dream?
Sure. Yes. Okay,
Yeah?
so I'll make it short and sweet.
Okay, go ahead. It was so powerful.
Okay, it's very powerful, and I have to say it's been massively helping me, so I'm so happy to share it. So this was a dream. This was a dream I told Devorah. It was the kind of dream that I woke up, I was sure that it was totally a huge teaching for me. And so here it is. So I was walking on an empty, abandoned beach, and all of a sudden I look up at the sky, and there's like a major tornado from all the way from Shemayim to Haaretz. It's like enormous, massive, thick, gray tornado, and it was extremely frightening. And before I knew it, there was a guy next to me, and he said, "Don't panic. If you panic, it will just get worse." And so I panicked, and another tornado forms right next to the first tornado, and it's just as big, just as huge, like from the top to the bottom, and thick and gray. And I absolutely panicked. I remember that the thought dawned in my head that just a matter of seconds I would be wiped out, because it was an empty beach, and I realized there's nothing for me to hold on to. And so I start running, and I'm running. I don't know how long I'm running. And then all of a sudden, I don't even know if this was a voluntary decision or what, but I stopped, and my whole consciousness shifted. I finally hopped the words that this guy had said to me, and he says, "Don't panic. It will just get worse." So I didn't for I don't know how this happened, but my whole consciousness filled with light and tranquility. In such a panicked state, I was able to have such tranquility, and
wow.
And I never looked back. I knew as soon as I filled up with all of that light, I knew I didn't even have to look back. I knew that they were gone. I knew that I 100% understood what that guy had said to me. And I knew that I could tell that, like, just my mind and my actions, like you keep talking about the mind being the arena for the Yetzirah to get it. Like, I could tell that just my mind being clear was enough to know that the tornadoes were gone. And I just walked down the beach. I never looked back. And it was, like, the most incredible dream. It was so, so vivid.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
Have you had it more than once?
No. I had another one about ocean after that, and it was also really cool. So the two of those dreams have been getting me through a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you should listen. I don't know if you heard, but you should listen to Rabbi Schwartz on my website. He gives a class on the Avoda of Kislev. Right? What's the woman? You know, not just the women. Well, he does tie it in specifically to women. But what is the energy, the Avoda for the month of Kislev? And he said it's sleep, and he talks specifically about dreams and how dreams are really, you know, the window to our neshama, and how we can really learn more about our neshama through our dreams. And are you still there? Did I just get knocked off? Hello?
Do you work on remembering your dreams, Nadia? Or do you just remember them?
I think Nadia
she went.
Connected. I think she just got knocked off the call, unfortunately.
Okay.
Hopefully she'll hear the recording. But Nadia,
okay.
Are you back? Nadia,
hi, I just got cut off. I somehow just got cut off.
Funny.
Yeah, now I'm back.
That's good. Did you hear what I said about Rabbi Schwartz?
I heard that you said that the avoda of Kislev is sleep, and then it cut out.
Right. Okay, there you go. So he says the avoda is sleep, and then he talks about dreams and how dreams are really like the window to our soul. It's like one way we can really access like what's going on inside ourselves is through our dreams. So you should listen to that because obviously this is not a random dream. This is a very powerful.
It's in English?
What he does is he speaks in Hebrew, and then there's a translator who, you know, like sentence by sentence, will say something in Hebrew, and then there's an English translation, and they go back and forth.
How do I find it on your website?
On my homepage. It's I think the second.
Oh, okay.
I think it's where it says Torah for Hanukkah, and I think it's the second class uploaded.
Oh, great! Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you very much. And a Freilich and Hanukkah.
Freilich and Hanukkah. Thank you. Okay, so we'll see you ladies in 2 weeks' time. And in the meantime,
wonderful.
Keep practicing the Ein Od Milvado. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hanukkah Sameach. Call 2.
Hanukkah Sameach. Thanks again.
Bye-bye. Laila Tov. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Laila Tov. Bye.